Gosh, I tell you what, you have never, ever felt such a buzz in one building than what is going on in this 24 hours. And it's going to be a lot shorter lived than we expected it to be or hoped for it to be as well. My word, what you're about to see for the next hour really is the heart and soul of the craft store and the love that you have and we all have for Miss P.
Hello.
Hello, my darling.
Thank you for that amazing introduction.
This is such a, and I know how incredibly nervous you've been about this because it's been a journey to get you to this one-day special. We all knew and we all believed and we all saw and said, gosh, this feels like a breath of fresh air. It is, the name says everything, by the way, Boundless Journal. Can you just nutshell that, Paula, for me?
Yes, this is a kind of based on a traditional method, but then there never has been a die. And 2 years ago, I thought this has to be a die. So I kind of developed this system into die mechanism. And what it is that the pages come off, and you can see here I use Tracy Hayes stamps. You have got a hinge mechanism that you die cut, then you die cut the pages, and the pages themselves have that kind of hole inside here. You can see there, and that is what you insert into the hinge, and then that's what kind of holds it together. But of course that would fall off. Well, you have the locking mechanism. In this case is a key that goes all the way and that binds it together.
But that's not the end of the story.
Oh, absolutely not.
Because you want to grow and grow and grow and grow that,
Absolutely.
then you can. And hold everything, because you'll want to see this. And if you haven't already got it in your basket, checked out, somehow you've got to do it within, well, I would say as quickly as you possibly can. The first live hour, we've got a complete bundle for absolutely everything you see here. I'm going to break it down from the one-day special and everything else. We've got a complete bundle here, of which, did I hear 70% of that entire, over 3/4 of the entire bundle of this Boundless Journeys is sold out and gone. Let me break it down first of all into its one-day special first. Now, the one-day special is like your bread and butter of the Boundless Journal, isn't it, Paula? Because this is your nuts and bolts, isn't it? This is exactly what you need. Just talk me through it briefly.
Yeah, so you are getting the page that has already the spine in one place. I wanted that to be like the case because I wanted to be quick and easy. Then you have the spine, so that's the main page.
Yep.
Then you have got the spine, that's what you fold and goes through the hole.
Yep.
Then you have the mats and layers for the spine, and then you have got elements. So these ones are the mats and layers. Then the top right, those ones are, you have two different locking keys. So one that is kind of inspired by a key, and then you have the one that is kind of a paperclip arrow, and then you have got the paper clips with the hearts and the
I love these, they're so cute.
Yeah.
I actually thought there was something you went out and bought and you were accessorising with, but they're not.
No.
You've made them as part of the
absolutely.
the setting, which is really, really cool.
And then you have also the diamonds and triangles that cut into the card to create a little bit of interest.
Those there, isn't it?
And then the solid metal piece that you can see there, that's what I call it an extender. So if you want to bound together different albums, you can glue that into the hinge, and you still will have a completely open hinge that you can take out anytime, but that will make it create like a extended, like a spine to several albums. Like
yes, absolutely. So when you're putting several together, you can actually bring it together beautifully.
Yeah.
And then, this is part two, isn't it, really, of the one-day special? Part of your one-day special there.
And these ones are the dies that cut into the card and out of the card, but they offer you as well the perfect mat and layers. It was important to me that as this is a random kind of eclectic sort of shape, you needed to have the perfect mat and layer.
Yes.
And then we kind of course, I need to add some geometrics and botanicals because that's kind of the two things that kind of I really like. So you have those ones as well. And then you have got more paper clips, but different shapes, of course, and you have got one heart because almost every single set will have a heart.
Let's have it the right way up, shall we, so the love doesn't fall out.
Yeah.
There we go. And that's going to be the signature of Miss P Loves as well, isn't it? A little love heart as well.
I mean, there is one that doesn't have a heart, but it has got the arrows that go through the heart.
Oh, it has. So your one-day special then is this one, 100-613. That is your essential Boundless Journey bundle of your 21 dies. It's never been done in die form before. You've had to do all of the hard work and all of the measuring and cutting and slotting and this and that and the other and whatever. This is brilliant. It's like a breath of fresh air. And I love the fact that it's not square pages that are sitting together. It can be if you want to be. You can do exactly that if you want to. But it's quite nice to have that dimension, to have that quirkiness. It's like a massive breath of fresh air. So that's the one-day special. But hang on, because you'll want the whole bundle, let me tell you. The accessories, on their own, they are limited stock. Does that mean the individuals, Katie? Right, so this is limited stock right now as the collection of 4 sets of dies.
Yes, absolutely.
Let me show you the dies. And again, Paula, if you'll very kindly just quickly talk us through.
So you are getting 4. So you are getting the botanicals you can see there, which are actually, I hand drew those ones. I don't know how I did it because I don't know how to draw, but I did those ones. And then I had the flowers. I love 6-pointed flowers, and I wanted an intricate and overlay, and of course different sizes. And then I'll show them how you have like different ways of layering them. And then, you know, one of my favorite had to be the geometrics as well as the arrow and the heart.
Stunning.
Because of course here you have got a photo frame, you have that kind of Aztec tribal inspired border with the arrows as well and the triangles to add. Because I love triangles and hexagons and diamonds, so that kind of works with it.
Love that.
And then you have the other one, which is the hearts and arrows. I love hearts. I love the way that the arrow, and the largest arrow also works as a locking key.
Fabulous. Now, that as a bundle of those 4 die sets there has now technically sold out. So should we not worry about that? The only way to get that bundle now is within the complete bundle, and I'll give you the details of that in just a second. But I want to give you the details first of all for the small hinge die set. Now, a lot of people are going for that on its own, and I'm not surprised. And this gives us, again, more options, Paula.
It does, indeed. I would say this was very important for me to incorporate this because the page, the Boundless Journal, it's for an A4 die cutting machine. This will fit whichever which way on an A5 or 6-inch die cutting machine.
Okay, right. So that increases its versatility.
Exactly.
Then.
And then the other thing that this one has, which is very important for me, is the fact that then you can bring any size card into that will go through your die cutting machine and create a Boundless Journal. So you have this spine, doesn't cut a page, it just creates the spines with the hole inside it. Then you have got the matching, you know, kind of mechanism, the hinge. Then you have an extender, and then you have got, instead of locking keys, you have locking tags, which have exactly the same idea, but they are tags. So you could write something, or you can use them as tags as well.
Okay, now listen, all of this will become clear as we go through the hour. So if you're thinking, right, okay, I'm a little bit confused, don't worry, because Paula will take you from step 1, from 0 to hero, but you will definitely want to have one of these. And I'm going to ask Paula as well whether we can run through some finished samples as well. But first of all, let's talk about the complete bundle. Over 3/4 of a sizable, and I mean very, very sizable. Remember, this is a collaboration between Paula and Crafts 2 together, so we knew it was going to be a big deal because we know, I mean, Crafts 2 have been in the business for a long, long time, so this you've worked very hard with John and Peter and the team at Crafts 2 to get this together, so you knew what the numbering would be and would need to be for a deal this big. Now, for the entire bundle, you're carrying over your £8 saving. You're saving a further £5 here. If you become a Freedom member, of course, you'll be saving a lot more as well, £12.79 there, and you can split that into 3 flexi payments as well, which is really, really good. So the first payment on this, to have the complete boundless possibilities, £23.38. Can I just give you a word to the wise if you're checking out on the web? I know we've had 1 or 2, or we're still having 1 or 2 issues with some payments there. If you can, if you've got the option, if you go for the PayPal option when you go to check out, that should get you straight sorted and checked out. And you are going to need to try and do that. I know it's very busy on the phone lines. It has been all day and it will be all night. There's a very, very good chance, and I know this is the show that goes out throughout the night as well, and I'm probably going to have to be apologising for something like 3 o'clock in the morning when people will be trying to check this out and there is no stock available. There's a good chance that this may well sell out overnight, may even happen within this hour, in which case we've got a nice free day for lots and lots of demos tomorrow, or a different plan. Who knows? None of us know right now, because this has proved massively, massively popular. So if you're checking out, do it if you can via PayPal, which will explain itself when you get through to the checkout. Right, Miss P, your show, over to you.
All right, well, thank you, Derek. Now, what I'm going to do is going to go through a couple of things. And we're talking about the design of the actual mechanism and the pages. One of the reasons some people said, oh, why it doesn't fit in an A5? And it's like, this was very important to me, that it kind of had to work, if I put it like this, different ways. So whatever way you're putting in, it kind of look fine. And if I had to reduce the size for an A5, then I tried, but it didn't, it was too small.
Yeah.
For the first one. So we are going to work on.
Well, hopefully. It would stop being boundless.
Exactly.
At one point, it would stop being boundless,
absolutely.
Wouldn't it? This size is perfect because you can literally go on and on and on and on and on. And once you've made the first one, you'll find all the occasions and you'll just want to keep making them because there's so much fun.
So many possibilities.
Yeah.
Right, so what I'm doing here is, and also what I wanted is that in one pass of the, with the die cutting machine, you had the spine, you had the pages. This will cut into the card, so it creates an aperture as well, so you already that, and you have the lock-in key here. So I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. I have used 2 or 3 different die cutting machines at home, and they all work really well.
Okay,
so that's this
cool.
is, and of course the materials, because they are quite open designs.
Yeah.
You will see how you can die cut a multitude of different materials. Obviously, test them. Some machines will cut them better than others. Right.
I've just had a thought out loud.
Yes.
And I don't know. You can tell me. But have you tried running fabric through these dies? Because you can make a little, like a nursery book for young ones, couldn't you?
Right, so it depends, of course, fabric. There are many different types of fabric. So if we are talking about quilting cotton or something like linen or something like this, you can. The one thing I would say is that it's best if you put, what I do is spray adhesive onto a piece of paper, then paste the quilting cotton.
So stabilise it.
Stabilise it, die cut it, and then remove the paper. Because you can do that.
Awesome.
Or bookbinding paper as well. That would work really well. Right.
So again, that's just that just popped into my mind as just another possibility for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then imagine it could be an embroidery. It could be a sampler of embroidery.
Of course it could. Yeah. You could make a needle book.
A needle book as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be
because actually 2 layers of fabric with a piece of card cut the same size, slightly smaller inside, would give that more stability. Oh,
there's so many possibilities.
You've opened so many doors, Paola, with this. I'm telling you now.
Right, so you can see it has cut already that hole in here, and it has cut those. Shouldn't have done it in black.
And it scores as well, doesn't it?
It does. And now you have different lines. Sorry, I don't know if
can't see them on the black.
Yeah, you can't. It's like rookie error. And it's like, oh, I shouldn't have this. But I just wanted to show the black because I kind of like the way of alternating then the pages. And this is what, but you can see in here the little triangles in there as well. Now, what I'm going to do is I have got one that I have done before. Can you see those scoring lines in here?
Yeah.
So this is those scoring lines that I had here. Let me show you on the die here. You can see that there are 5 there. There, you can see it over there. So that is because it allows you to fold it like singly, or then do different, so that will give you a bigger spine. The same with the spine itself, or the hinge, that has different scoring lines. So you have got 1 that would be a single of a score, or 2 that gives you a bigger spine. So you have got all those possibilities. So we have that, and then literally is, I unbound it, I take it out, just put it in here, and you can see that you can do mix it and match it, say whatever you want it, make sure that it's kind of, then I have got a little bit of, I want the parchment in here, but the parchment, that you can see how it alters
Do you know sorry to interrupt, Paola.
No,
but
that's
do you
fine,
know the other thing
absolutely.
I love about this is that you think of all of the companies that do dies, stamps, inks,
Yes.
whatever it might be, you can think of something from every one of those that's going to work in this perfectly. For
Absolutely.
instance, you just mentioned parchment there, so you could do some groovy work on a parchment
absolutely.
and get that in as a page, and you can make that something really, really interesting. You can get your graphic 45 papers in there.
Absolutely.
Any paper you've got.
There is a sample there from John himself, the blue, the one in front of your eyes.
This one?
No, in front of your eyes.
This one?
This one, yeah.
Yes.
That's graphic 45.
Oh, right, OK. Now, so this shows you the overall concept as well. And I really love, like, the jaunty angles at which the pages come out as well. And you can make those even jauntier, by the way, because, as Paola says, you know, that you can really break the rules with this.
Absolutely.
Because if you've got the extension, like the accessories kit, then you can basically cut that aperture any which way into anything you want to. But that's using, oh, my gosh, right, OK, just give you a quick update, shall I? Approaching 80% of the entire collection. That's everything you see there. So that's the entire possibilities of the Boundless Journal. This has gone so bonkers, it's untrue. We've had just over 1 live hour. This is the show that now then repeats throughout the night. So by 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning, I don't know what the state of play will be, to be honest with you. So please do check out as quickly as you can. There's even merit there to joining as a Freedom member if you are not, to max the saving, because actually your saving pays back to you instantly like that, which is really, really good. Sorry, Paola.
No, that's all right. I mean, you know, I know the job you need to do.
we're all somewhere, exactly. I know, it's like poacher turned gamekeeper here, isn't it?
No, but basically I put all the pages in here, and then I kind of put my locking key or locking arrow in this case. I kind of thread it through, and that has already cut the kind of element in there, and that kind of holds it together.
So strong, isn't it, as well?
And you have in here, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. So I have got about 5 that are about 300 GSM, and then I have got some parchment in there. And I love your idea of the groovy play, because then of course you can bring your beautiful clarity papers, and here you know, there are so many possibilities.
Well, you know why I say that as well is because normally with a journal, you have to hold the journal open and then work on one page as the other one is trying to flap its way over.
Yeah.
Or you have to weigh it down in some way, or it won't go through the die cutting machine again, or you can't emboss it again, or whatever. Because with this Boundless Journal, you can keep taking the pages out. You can then take that to the groovy plate, go and groovy it. You can then take that to the embossing folder and put that through the die cutting machine again, and then just slot it back into your journal. That's
Absolutely.
it. Do you know the other thing I said to you, and I said this to you earlier today as well? For me, the biggest thing about journaling, when I hear journaling, I think, gosh, the pressure of pages to fill. Because when you buy a journal ready-made, you've got that pressure of, well, I've done 1 page, what about the other 79? And you feel the pressure of that weighing upon you. You feel that pressure to have to do it and have to finish something. This, you build up at your own pace, and then you add to it as you want to. And that means that you can keep coming back to it again. And it means that you will keep coming back to it again. And you'll keep thinking of new ideas. I have to tell you as well, if you're thinking of, you know, maybe a little quirky little business, do you know what I mean? Making something that was distinct and boutique and something that wasn't out there on the market already, wouldn't this be a good idea?
Because also, even if, you know, one of the things that I have to say massive thank you to not only Craftstube for putting the faith in me, but also John Lovewood and Sam and Leslie and Art Angel and of course Sheila and Julie Hickey, who have made the samples. But this is the thing, is that every single sample is unique. And because of the shape of the you know, the slanty pages or the kind of variant, that is exactly the same, absolutely the same die, but you kind of create completely different effects. It looks different dies. It does look different dies. It doesn't look at it because that's the randomness, and it's using just the one-day special to die cut the pages.
You can see, because there's a diverse group of people, as you talked about, who made up the samples for this show, and you can see that they all put heart and soul into this because it's like a breath of fresh air. I mean, this, you think, hang on a second, where has this come from? This isn't a journal page. It is. It's the 2 journal pages there which have which have had card put onto the front of them and decorated. How stunning is that as a novel card?
I mean, there is that's stunning. I
love
love
it.
this lot as well. I kind of want to mention as well, Art Angel. Look at this. This is the page. You can see it here. So
Yeah.
that's the page in there. That is now an easel card. A random
Wowzers.
easel card with even the stopper has been done with the pages.
Yeah.
This is, I think this one is made by Sam. If I'm mistaken, please forgive me. But I love the way that you can add as many layers and elements into it. And of course, you can see, I mean, this is the thing. It doesn't matter what your style is. Using exactly the same die, this one, you know, it doesn't have a name, so I do apologize. But, you know, you can see just folding them exactly the same way, it completely looks different, doesn't it?
Every single stamp you've got, every single die you've got can be incorporated into one of these projects. It can be a book, it can be a folder, it can be a photo album, it can be a card, it can be decor, it can be a recipe book, it can be a travel journal, it can be whatever you want, baby's first folder, you know,
Yes.
because you can keep building on it. That's the thing. The word to focus herein on is boundless, because the possibilities just go on and on and on and on. Now, remember, you can break down that price tag as a Freedom member. You can break that down. Well, everyone can break it down. You can break it down into flexi payments, which is really, really good. I would urge you, because it looks like we're only going to get one bite of the cherry this time around, to be honest with you. 80% of the stock of the entire collection has sold out and gone. And once it's gone, we don't have scope for more stock right now.
We
absolutely don't. Yeah, we did. We asked the question. John Lockwood was in the building, and if anyone can, it's John, and we can't right now. And this is tremendous. I mean, actually, you know, you do a certain amount of forecasting and looking forward at what we will need for something like this. And I think this echoes the love in this building and the love of everyone in the craft community as well for Paola, and backing that idea and that concept, because it is like the biggest breath of fresh air come in through the door, and we absolutely love it. And listen, if you need any more inspiration, and blimey, there are plenty more ideas coming from Paola in just a second, but take a little look at this, because this is some of the finished samples in full living colour. So lovely. Thank you so much as well. I know, you know, it's a bit of a thing trying to check out right now. If you can go via the PayPal option, that should see you straight through the checkout process while we sort out all the other little gremlins. Of course, you can do that via the phone lines as well. Call our team on 01733 60 2000. It is very, very busy on the phone lines, and thanks for bearing with us. But that means that we can enjoy more of you, Miss P.
Well, I'm enjoying of both of us.
Oh.
Oh, 'cause that's a bit right. So shall we talk about the hinge,
Yes.
the one that is and I think this one is important because this is one of the reasons I love, you know, kind of when we were talking with John, it was like we bounce each other ideas and kind of I would have my ideas and then he said, but what have you thought about this? And this is one of the reasons, like making sure that for people who have got a smaller die cutting machine, like an A5 die cutting machine, 6 inches,
Yeah.
this wouldn't be perfect for them. But also this is perfect for anybody, because for me personally, this is almost kind of as exciting as the main one, because this one cuts the aperture and scores it, but no pages whatsoever. This is perfect for those backgrounds that we have, those beautiful backgrounds mocking up that we have learned to do because Leone has told us not to throw anything away.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are different ways. We can then be random. So I'm going to do one random like this. You don't have to measure anything because that will create that randomness, that boundless randomness that we sometimes want
That's
to have.
what you want, isn't it?
So then run it through, and remember, it will cut and score it, and it will give you that perfect element in it.
And these pages do allow for mixed media freedom as well, don't they? Because they're not so tightly bound that you can only be one-dimensional about your decoration. So if you want embellishments, if you want other bits and pieces in there, there's room, there's breathing space.
I mean, it hasn't scored, you cannot really see it, but there it is. See? It has created that kind of random. But say, well, Paula, I like everything, because I remember one of the comments was, oh, but I like something that is just perfectly silly. So what you do is you take your scoring board, if you wanted to, or, your trimmer, and you create a perfect fold. I mean, I'm doing it quick and easy because I just want to show you. And then what you do is, if the piece of card is smaller than 6 inches, you put your tape like this, right? Then you put the, more or less, if you want to be exact, you put it over a central element like a ruler, so it will give you how many inches is either side. Personally, I do everything by eye. So I have got the scoring line here and here. More or less, I see that it is more or less the same amount for here. Press it down. And that will be right in the middle. I mean, I'm not going to be as perfect because this is live TV, and if you score it, run it through an scoring board will give you a much better, definite line through it. Right. So run it through. And
this is brilliant because you can put now that aperture into anything that is in existence, can't you?
Exactly. Like I'm going to do like an envelope. But see, perfect in here. It has created that hole in there. And then we can then bring it in, if we wanted to this one in here. Now we need to have a hinge and the locking tags. I have them with the low tag tape just because it's quicker and easier for me to do it. So I'm going to put it there.
Oh, another update, and they're coming thick and fast, let me tell you, as we're talking to you live at 8:27 on Tuesday night. If you want the hinge set of dies on its own, at $10.99, over 80% of the stock has sold out and gone. That's approaching 8:30 on Tuesday night, like 1.5 hours into the whole day's one-day special, Paula.
Oh, well, I mean, I have to say, thank you so much to everybody. And the emails as well. I have read I read your emails to Nikki. Thank you so much, Janice. The team, the blue team has emailed me as well. So thank you so much. So then folded. Haven't done very good a job at folding that, but, live TV, I'll blame everything in live TV. Doesn't matter. The important thing is that is the right width in there. And then we are going to take, I prefer to use, I have given two tags. So the reason is because I wanted to give you a proper tag here. So that's a tag that you can write a sentiment. So it's kind of a decorative. And then if you have a paper brad, you can put it there and that will hold it in there.
Oh, okay,
But of course, I was saying, I wanted that you don't need anything, just a die cutting machine, the dies, and paper. So I created that tag that is a proper tag. You can use it there, but it has that V shape in here that adds as a lock. So this is why I kind of thought I'll give you a proper tag. If you want to put some Baker Twines, you can, but I don't want you to need anything other than the paper and the dies. And that creates that journal. There is another way. So this is the one that I did earlier. What did I use here? Again, I can unbound it. Put it together.
Is that an envelope there?
That's an envelope.
Oh, my word.
Because
you've incorporated that in as a page?
Because you can.
Of course you can, yeah, because you
Now,
can put that anywhere, can't
this one, what you do is you open it up and
Yeah.
you can see the scoring lines. It doesn't matter how big the envelope is. It could be a much bigger one. You use the scoring lines as a guide.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've done is, as a top tip, is you can see those 2 points. I draw with a permanent marker.
Yeah.
And that gives me an idea exactly to line those lines in
Oh,
here.
like a guideline, yeah,
You
yeah.
can see it through the holes, but I prefer it with
Yeah.
the black. And then again, you can bring them in here.
So actually,
And
do
you
do
could close it
when you're
even.
talking about, it might be a travel journal or something like that. If I've got a ticket from a concert that I went to, or a
Yes.
train ticket or something like that, these would all be the right size for adding them in if you wanted to as part of that, because you could make the aperture into those. The length of that is about, did you say it was about 2 inches?
2
the
inches,
length of the
exactly.
aperture?
So basically, that's a very good point, actually. We didn't mention in the previous hour. So this is 2 inches, and I done a sample, which it was, I would say, you can go about 3 inches. I would probably go a little bit bigger, but 3 inches will give you a half an inch either side.
Okay.
So that's still all right.
Yeah.
But of course, you can make it a little bit bigger or smaller if you wanted to. Now, again, you have got the scoring lines that creates a thicker spine if you wanted to, and you also have an extender. With an extender is this bit. Sorry, I need to find it. What is? Let me show what it is. Oh, where I put it. Sorry. Need to
should
look
put the
something.
details up just while you fish through. Put the details up of the hinge die set as well on its own. So that's got the hinge and it's got the spine with the little slot in it as well, but it's also got the spine and it's got the extender there as well. In fact, that's just gone limited stock on its own. So it looks like we are heading to a situation where if you want to guarantee getting all of the elements of this, the big bundle is the way to go. Please check out via PayPal if you can on the website. That seems to be the swiftest way of checking out right now. Or, of course, if you're watching us live tonight, you can speak to the team who will be here right the way through the shows on 01733 602,000. Just be aware, has been very, very busy on the phone lines all the way through the day today. And thank you to our amazing team, I have to say, because they have worked their socks off today, Paola, haven't they?
They have, indeed they have. Another point that, like every day, they work very hard.
Oh, of course they do, yeah,
do.
but today especially.
Right, so another thing that I wanted to point out, the extender, you both have it on the one day special, the pages, and in the hinge one, is designed so it will fade perfectly like this, or if you have lots of different journals and you want to bound them together to create a spine, I have created this, and also I've given you the perfect element to decorate it if you wanted to use it in there. So you have got that decoration as well there.
That's really good, because actually you can end up with a situation if you're making multiple layers, and this looks perfectly fine to me, but you can see this is a number of different, because this is boundless. I mean, that could be 3 times that width,
Absolutely.
couldn't it? So if you just want to bring a little bit of elegance and finesse onto the end of that, kind of, those extenders allow you to do that,
The
don't they?
extenders kind of, basically, they don't necessarily extend it per se, but it kind of hinges them together.
Yeah, like a bridge.
Yeah, and you need to use glue for that bit, definitely. I just wanted to give you an extra way to decorate it if you wanted to do it. You don't need glue for the journal, but if you want to make it, bigger, then you can use it.
Do you know what, though? I think completely and utterly the heirloom potential of these is just brilliant, because they are naturally, because the way they're shaped, because they're quirky, you'll interact with them. If you were looking at a bookcase full of photo albums that were just standing there like dictionaries and atlases and, encyclopedias and things like that, you wouldn't necessarily be drawn to that, but something that's so tactile and something that's so different, you'd want to pick up and you'd want to interact with and have that relationship with. I think that's the thing that, for me, everyone's going to have their own individual, even though you've got something here which makes a generic type of thing, everyone's end result will be uniquely theirs and it will feel like it belongs to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I kind of it's a funny thing because it just spends so much time with the pages. For instance, the main page in here, you can see it, it's random. And you're thinking, well, it's just a random shape. Oh no, it took me a long time to make sure that the lines were fine so you could use them. So basically you can use them in many different combinations and they all give you a little bit of modification, if you know what I mean. It kind of alters a little bit of sizing. I mean, this one looks a little bit more kind of even, but when I bring this one in here, you can see how many different pages come up in there. And then, of course, you glue different elements, like, for instance, the One Day Special or the Complete Collection has these kind of intricate die that cuts into the card, and then you overlay it. Then you have got the accessories that you can then bring in, and you know, all these different ways of kind of mixing them up. And remember, you can take it out at any one point and bring in a jelly plate if you want to add more layers, or you suddenly think, oh, I want to spray something, then bring it up to somewhere else.
And again, that's really, really important to know because of the way this slots together. If you ever get to a page in your book, you might have 27 pages in your finished journal, and if you get to page sort of 24 and think, there's a bit more I want to do with that, and actually I need the 2 pages together, you just simply open it out, take that page, go and emboss it, go and die cut into it, go and use it on its own. You can have it flat, so you can stamp on it as well. You know, again, nothing else is in your way. So the name Boundless is, honestly, it's genius. I've never seen anything like this before. Journaling for me is, a journal is a fixed size with a fixed number of pages, and that's it. And that's great and it's fantastic, but you are bound to its limitations, pardon the pun. And this frees you from all of that, because if you want your journal to be a simple card of 1 page, fine. If you want to go to 101 pages, that's fine. If you want to do this over 20 years, that's fine. You've got everything you need to keep adding and changing it, and you'll want to make more and more of these, I just know it.
And you know, the other thing is very important is the fact that, for instance, I have got here, and you can see it, I have got some foil craft card. This is about 300 GSM. I have got some parchment here. So again, you can see how I just kind of mix and match those different sizes, the pages opening. Then I have got here some black cards. Then I have got here fabric. Then I have, this is about 300 and, no, sorry, no, this is more. This is, I think this was 450. Now, 450, I'm going to be completely honest. When you die cut it, and I didn't use my strong machine. I used one that is a little bit tired, but it's electronical. So it kind of, I needed to go in with a cutter and finish the cut, but you can see that it's still cutted.
But it's not difficult to do at all, is it?
Yeah, it's just, you can then mix it up, and you can, of course, kind of finish it up.
So we've got loads and loads of messages coming in, as we have done all the way through. We've got Alex, Janice, Adam and Catherine. All loving the show, Paola. There's so much love. I mean, everyone, it's almost like everyone in the building, in front of camera, behind the camera, everyone's super, super, super excited. And I'm not just saying that. Everyone has felt the butterflies here for you, because there's such a lot of love for you in this building as well. And also, this is recognising you for your creativity as well. And I really, really love that, because actually, this is actually Paola saying, you know what, I've got something different to bring to the table, and I genuinely love this. You can see the love and the warmth and your heart and soul that's gone into this.
Thank you. And it's this also kind of thing that means a lot to me, and everybody in the comments on social media. By the way, if you add the One Day Special or any of the allies, and if you want to incorporate it to share them, there is of course a Crafting with John Next Door and Crafts Too. It's a Facebook group. You can post it there. I'm a member, and then of course you can hashtag Miss P Loves, and of course I'll try to see it, or even message me, whatever. I'd love to see what you're making, so that means a lot. Remember you can mix and match with what you can with different materials, of course you can, and just experiment as well. And I know that the shape is a little bit out there, and we were talking about this, I was nervous because it's like, it's not your straight line, it's just a little bit angular, but everybody has appreciated that it's a bit different, and that sometimes is right.
And actually, as you were saying before, Paola was talking about how she developed this as well. and the stages of development. I mean, originally it was intended to be able to fit the dies onto an A5 because a lot of people have an A5 cutting machine, and it just didn't work. The scale was too small. The shapes wouldn't work in the same way. But I think actually, again, if you're like me, and when I think about journaling, I think of big, big pages, and I think of, right, OK, that's a lot of pages to fill, so I've got to be very, very creative, and I feel the pressure to have to fill every single page. You're working with a really, really manageable size here as well. Something you can build up from literally, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 pages. I mean, I think probably everyone's got a paper pad at home. OK, just to let you know, we've got about 15 minutes left on this show, and this is the show that will repeat through the night. So as I'm talking live at 20 to 9 on Tuesday night, we're talking about over 80% of this entire stock sold out and gone. Now, whether you'll be setting an early alarm for to be here at 8 a.m, Paola, at the moment might still be in the air, so to speak, because this could well be sold out by the time Paola comes back. Well, maybe Paola comes back at 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning. Watch this space, folks. It's amazing. If you want the small journal hinge on its own, by the way, it is now very, very limited. So it looks like we are going to say goodbye to that on its own. It is in the entire bundle, but your last opportunities to get this on its own right now. So the hinge and the extender bundle there on its own at £10.99. Most of you are going for the full bundle. And do you know what? I think you'll be so pleased that you did. And I know the funny thing is you see so many products on a daily basis. There's always something new every single day. That's the nature of what we do here at the Craft Store, introduce you to lots and lots of new ideas. But I think you can see that this one's got legs. Do you know what I mean? This one has going to, not talking about your legs, Miss P, I'm talking about this. This has got legs. This is something you're going to be using in a decade's time, in 2 decades' time. Do you know what I mean? You'll always go back to it. It feels like one of those things, Paola, that you're not going to, it's not going to be a one-hit wonder. You think, oh, I love doing that once, but then I put it away and I never used it again. This is something you will always go to.
You know what? That's, you know, of course it's my baby, so I'm kind of going to agree. But when I saw the boxes that John brought me, that they have been made by Sheila, Art Angel, and of course Leslie, then I was like, just 3 people have done all these samples,
yes,
and they were all the different. Then, of course, then Leonie said something, and this is very important, and hopefully she will be using them as well tomorrow. The fact that actually, you know, it's just simple, you know.
And I think it's right. Okay, sorry. We'll end this conversation at one point or another. We'll just keep breaking into it at the moment. The small hinge die set on its own, technically now sold out. If you do have it in your basket, please make sure that you do check it out. So the only way of achieving that now is the entire collection, which is dwindling by the second. Luckily, we've got 13 minutes left in the show, which is more demo time, of course, with Miss P herself, which is brilliant. By 8 o'clock in the morning, I don't know whether we will be even talking about availability as well. So if you're watching this through the night, please make sure that you check out. It's going to be the quietest time overnight as well to get into the website, and fingers crossed, and use PayPal if you can to get that checked out, because that seems to be working pretty seamlessly at the moment while the other gremlins are being sorted. Thank you. Absolutely amazing. And thank you as well.
Thank you, and thank you, Crafts too, and John Lowood for all the help, and Sam. Sam has been amazing as well. And
Leonie is definitely using this tomorrow. We were talking about it earlier. We've got a Let Leonie Loose show tomorrow. There'll be, is there 1 or 2? I know I'm with the 11 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. I'm with Leonie at 2, and she says she's using these, and she just says, you know what? That is going to make her life just so simple, because she knows she's got a nice steady road there. It is absolutely. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you is the hinge, because obviously it has sold out individually, but it's still available in the complete collection. Yes. Now, what you can do is a scorecard. I had it in black, but black is really bad on camera, so you can see it. How many years, Paola? How many years have you been on telly?
Well, it's a, you know, it's a bit of a decade, isn't it? But never learned. I just like black. What can I say? And so my boss is like, will you dress with a little bit of color? And one day, trying black and red. Will that work? Maybe. But what I've done is put the hints. So I have done like a concertina. So I score one and then another one, because you can do that. And you could do it. So then you can have like hidden hinges in there and different elements through it. So there is that way that it's not just one hinge that you can put. It's just more elements.
This is so clever, and never say it's simple, because its simplicity is its genius. Yeah, absolutely. Katie just said the word. As I was saying it, we both said genius, and it really is, because you think of journaling is a big wide world in craft. It's massive, absolutely huge, and only growing. And you think, well, come on, journaling, it's all been done, surely. And then, hello, Miss P, look at you.
Well, it's funny, because I'm not going to say, look, oh, I invented the wheel. No, but it's just like kind of bringing something that it was creating a slot which could tear it, to create a slot that, or a hole that is the perfect thickness. So you have ability to put different types of thickness of cards that is not too thick, not too thin, but that allows you to create those elements. So then it kind of is working it all out. And you can measure it perfectly. You can be a little bit random, like I am being now. It's up to you. And then working it out as a crafter, the best ways for you to craft with, to making sure that you are going to have fun. One of the things that for me was one of the biggest compliments that Leona said, and she said it off air, I think, is like, the reason why I love it is because I don't have to think, and I know it's going to look good. That is going to look striking.
Yes, you get a faultless result every single time, even if you feel that you don't necessarily have an artistic ability. Simply putting together papers that are in your collection, fabrics, parchment, pretty papers, whatever it might be. There are other elements in your life that you could bring into this as well. You can add photos to it. You can add whatever you want to it. You can stamp onto it. You can emboss it. You know, and at the end of the day, everyone gets a brilliant result. I have to tell you, there has, in my time here at Hochandra, and I've been around like a fair while here one way or the other, the entire conversation of almost every single person in this building in the last 24 hours, because you kept this very quiet right up to the last minute. I have to say, it was like a sacred few that knew all the details. And then suddenly we were all like, what? What's going on here? And then we watched it, and then you did a Facebook Live yesterday, and for me, and I watched that, and I just thought, gosh, you know what? That's genius, and that feels like everyone can do it, because journaling can be one of those things that you think, well, listen, I haven't signed up my membership, I haven't been doing it for 10 years and whatever, so I'm probably too late to the party, to the whole journaling thing. But hello, everyone can pick this up and do this. And just run it through your die cutting machine, you've got the results instantly, and you can make it as big or as small as you want. Boundless is the word, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And also the fact that, you know, like kind of, I'm here, what I'm doing, for instance, I kind of think, imagine, well, this one is a little bit too big, so I'm going to do it like a little bit smaller. Imagine that you have got like a tiny 4x4 piece. You can then bind it together. Can you see here how I'm doing this bit and in here? So then you kind of take the hinge, and remember, all you need is paper, a die cutting machine, and the dies. That's all you need. You don't need a crocodile, you don't need a paper punch, you don't need baker's twine, you don't need a stapler, you don't need a book binder. All you need is the die cutting machine and the papers. I mean, I'm just done it just to show you that you can bind it like this, or you could even leave it like this. You can then, if you don't mind not being bound, like if you wanted to make sure that you can add glue elements into here. However, if they are bigger than this, they are going to be actually, you are not going to be able to take out. Right.
We've just had the most lovely email, Paola,
Sorry,
for you.
I kind of went
From
silent.
Claire. She says you're very naughty because you're making her spend money that she hadn't planned to spend. But hello, welcome to the craft store.
Yeah.
That's kind of what tends to happen here. You know, it's all to the good, really, isn't it? But I can see why. There'll be people that have come to the show because, you know, they've heard all the big build up to it and everything else, and they want to see it and they want to support you, and they've got here and they've thought to themselves, well, I'm not buying today, not buying today. That's it. I'm sitting on my hands today. I'm not buying. and then gone to them. There are probably lots of people wagging a finger at the telly saying,
Yeah.
Paula, what have you done to me?
Can I say a massive hello to Nikki? She sent me an email because she came to my some of my first die cutting classes back in 2005 because she knows like, oh, you just got wasabi, so that must have been 2005. And she kind of learned die cutting with me a little bit. That's what she showed with everybody. And now she's like, I had to buy it just to support you. I said, thank you so much. That meant so much to, and Gwen as well, that, you know, a lot of people that have known me and followed me for, you know, supported me through the years in this industry. So thank you to everybody.
And you know what, absolutely every single person, when they make their journal, their card, their project, whatever it may be, will always think of you and then come back and watch another show with you, Paula, as well. I think this is lovely. I don't know, again, I don't have names on these samples, so I'm not sure who.
Art Angel. And this is a completely different, I think it's Art Angel, yeah. Art Angel, yeah.
Now, it's using the pages in a little bit of a different way, isn't it? And it's created a little bit of a little seed folder. That's really, isn't that clever, Paula? Really,
and this
clever.
is the thing. Yes, it's a boundless book, but you can still use your other two ways, like paper punches and twine. You know, to be my guest to do whatever you want to do with it.
That's cool, isn't it? Because you can kind of wrap that up. And tie it traditionally as well. So there are lots and lots of different ideas. Other people sell seeds, I should probably say, by the way, because we showed some seed packets there, but there you go. Right, come on, show us something else. We've got literally less than 5 minutes and not many of these bundles left.
Right, so one of the things I'm going to show is like just kind of, if you have want to use the pages with die cut or, you know, pattern page, you need to do two things. You need to, some of the pages will be like this, so I'm going to just put it through here. So this is going to be on the front of it. And some of them you need to consider. So basically, if you want to use pattern paper onto your journals, what you need to do is think about where the position of the pages are going to be. And this is important because what I'm going to show you now. So for instance, if you want the pages to be like this, then you have that one that will go here perfectly. Now, for instance, I want to have one on the back of it, therefore the die has to be facing the other way, right?
Yeah.
So what you need to do, what I have done here, is to put the and the paper like this on top. So this is when if you have got a light box, this is a very good way because you place it like this, or if you don't, you put it to the window and then you're thinking, this is how we do it. So it's like that. So then you have that perfect page like this, so that will match the inside. And then you do the same thing for this one in here. That one will be also done the same way, whether this one here will be done the other way around. So that's kind of how you create the perfect mats and layers. And remember, if you go for either one day special or the complete collection, you are going to get the perfect mats and layers for the pages.
I just love the idea of making like children's story books out of you know like mixed media materials. Just looking at this sample, do you know who did this one, Paula?
This one, I think it was Sam. I think, no, this one is Art. I think it's Art Angel. So,
it's absolutely superb because actually the pages, I mean, you've got a very, very mixed media cover there, and then you've got, you know, fabric and then pages, and it's like really, really interactive. It's got texture. You want to interact with it, all the different types of papers, and I love these little locking keys. I just think they're ever so clever. Really, really good. You know, lots of different papers and patterns in there. And it's just something that I just think would make such a lovely heirloom, and it would become such a lovely heirloom so quickly as well, which I think is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Please make sure that you check out. We are well over 80% stock of the entire bundle. And remember, this is the kind of A to Z of the Boundless journey from Miss P, our very own Paula. This is such a lovely debut for this, honestly, and we are all so invested in it, I have to say. Not, you know, necessarily in a financial sense, but in a heart and soul sense. You know, we all want Paula to do amazingly well, and we're all bowled over by just how darn good an idea this is, and you can see everybody who's made a sample has made something completely and utterly different
Unique.
because this is so versatile.
It is, and even to the fact that the spine itself that kind of connects everything can be used as a closing hinge in here or closure, so you can use it. So that's one idea. The way that, I don't know again who has made this one, I wish this is upside down. So instead of having the hinge going inwards, this one has been going outwards. So then you can use them, and then of course what creates actually this way, then what they have done is you have got multiples, and then of course you can glue them here together as well. So you have got a completely different one, and then of course you have used the mats and layers to create a different completely look. There is so many possibilities.
And we will be going through some more of those possibilities, hopefully and maybe at 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning. But if you do want it and you're watching one of the overnight repeats right now, keep checking back at the website, because if there are any bounce backs or whatever, you know, absolutely just go for it. Try and check out via PayPal if you can. I know Leonie will be using this concept tomorrow as well on her Let Leonie Loose shows at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Miss P,
Thank you.
sleep well, Princess.
You too.
Back here at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Absolutely, and you will be too as well later on today.
I will be later on in the day, and fingers crossed that you have some stock to play with in the morning as well. But listen, that's tomorrow's lovely problem to have. If you do have one of these bundles, please do check it out as quickly as you possibly can. Use PayPal, that'll be your best friend tonight.